underneath.
Yeah.
You got it.
Can clip it.
Yeah, or yep.
Is
Right
it
in your
on?
pocket. Yep, it's on. Let me make sure. Yep, you're good. No, just turn it up when you get up there.
Okay, thank you.
Need a little bit more slack on your
Yeah,
neck.
yeah. Can I get a little bit more? So I can turn my head.
There you go. That's good now.
Do we need more? Because if I move like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I think I pulled your hair.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Excuse me.
Well, good evening. Let's go ahead and get our service started. It's good to see you guys out tonight. Be praying to EBC kids. There's a leadership meeting tonight, and then they're going to begin next week. So be praying for them. The vans are out tonight, kind of going over their routes. So just pray the protection for our van drivers. And then Hope Youth Ministry began today, and so there's a lot of kids back there. So that's really good. So just be praying for a good year with the youth. Got revival coming up here in just a couple weeks, and so be praying for Aaron Hilliard. He's going to be doing the revival, so we just be praying for them. We got special music each night from our people to lead us in worship, and then of course at the end of the month, be praying. We got the Fredonia Bluegrass. Brian Price is going to be here on that fifth Sunday singing. And continue to pray for the nominating team. We're almost done. It's done well. And then also Millie and Carlos. She's gone through 27 treatments, got 5 left, and will be here back at the end, by the end of August. I better not say October. She would really get me.
They're expecting to leave not this weekend, but next weekend. They were going to leave the day after she finished next week, but they've decided to wait until the weekend.
Make sure, okay. Good deal. So keep praying for them and pray that got all the cancer, okay? And so I just wanted to mention that those wasn't on your prayer sheet, and then you got your prayer sheet with you. So I'm going to just ask Tommy to open us in prayer, then Harry come and just tell us what we got, what's going to go on tonight, okay? Yeah.
Good to be back home again, isn't it? So we just appreciate all the love and support that y'all have given us all through the years. It's been a joy. It's been something that our heart for our whole family remembers, and that's what's going on tonight. You got the Ward family here. So I'm going to start with the baby of the family. That's Andrew Ward with his family. And Andrew was after we finished up in Togo with the Christian school movement, and I worked at the hospital, and we did some other things. And then Andrew came along after us and continued the Christian school movement, because that's what he's got his doctor's degree from UTC in education. So he continued that ministry that's going on, and that ministry is still going on today. You'll see some of that. So here's some slides that Andrew sent. If you look at the picture of that school building, okay, it's basically concrete walls, floor, and ceiling. And if you look at the little holes off into the side, that's their air conditioning. There are just little holes in each side of the wall. Most of them have a fan that blows, and you have just a small opening so people can't reach in and steal things, but the air, it gives you the cooling back and forth from it.
That could be a school building that Brian and BW helped build, too.
That's true. They could have been part of the crowd, so that we're going to see if the walls are straight and see if the foundation holds, right? So, and now notice the furniture in the schoolroom. It's all wood. Everything inside's wood. They don't deal with metal things there very much at all. So the desks are wood, the teachers' desks is wood. And notice the things on the wall. Now, when you've got concrete walls, it's really difficult to put things up on the wall. So B came up with, I don't know, B or one of her friends came up with an idea of driving into little concrete nails and stringing a line across it and getting clothespins. And so you'll see all kinds of things decorated in the walls of Togo like that because that's the only way to do it. So I think you see alphabet here, if I remember right, is what's going on with here. Okay, that's one of our teachers, of course. Let's see if we can get it working today. Can we advance it? There we go. Okay. So here's some more pictures of that. Teacher on the left, one of our lady teachers with some of the visuals. The picture in the middle, you see a Samaritan's Purse box there. Okay, Samaritan's Purse makes it to Togo. Okay, so you never know where boxes come from. There's Walmart bags from Saudi Daisy and Chattanooga that make it all the way to Togo too. So then you see some of the kids' pictures there. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, oh, too far. Let's see if we can go back. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's what that one. There we go. Okay, let's see. Okay, on the lower left, you see a school in construction. So if you look in the front of it, you can see there's sand, gravel, and then there's blocks, sacks of concrete mix. So every block is handmade. Stir it, mix it, put it in a mold, flip the mold over, wait 1 to 2 weeks, and it's nice and hard, and that's what you build. So you don't order the blocks and they're not delivered somewhere. You make each individual block, whether it's a solid block or whether it's those air blocks. And the air blocks come in several different sizes and different looks and so forth. And then off to the bottom right, you can see what a finished school looks like. Okay, you can see that the walls have those air blocks in them. And the nice schools, that's ours, have this we would call it like mountain stone at the lower level. Now what that does is it saves all the fingerprints from kids over the years. And also when it rains so hard, and it doesn't come this way, it comes this way, because it blows every time you have a thunderstorm. On regular schools with just block walls, that all washes down, and it makes the bottom tiers of the schools look really cruddy. So we put this nice stone up, and it will look brand new for 50 years because we've got buildings at the hospital that we built like that, and you can't tell whether they were built last year or whether they were built 50 years ago. So it makes the buildings last a whole lot longer, even though it's a little bit more expensive to start. So it's a good investment that we're making on that. Okay, let's see. All right. Now you see some of our teachers up on the right-hand side. If you look really closely, you'll see Andrew in the back row. And also you'll see another white face there. That's Christy. Christy's the young lady that came as a single girl and came over to help B in the Christian school movement. And she found a young man to get married, and she's married and stays there. And she's got, what, 2 or 3 now? Three children. She's staying there, and she's continuing on the ministry after Andrew has retired from that. If you want to know where Andrew is retired from Togo simply because he felt he had accomplished what he needed to accomplish. You know, missionaries sometimes hang on too long. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. But after you've finished your ministry and God gave you what it needs to get it started and what it's going, and you've trained and turned it over to nationals, you either go do it again in another country or some other place, or God moves you on. In Andrew's case, God moved him on, and now he's at the Bob Jones University Press. He's writing the senior high Bible curriculum in the textbooks that they sell all over the world. So he's talented in that way. He's a writer. He loves doing it, and God used that ability. So that's where he is. You can see him up there in the bottom right-hand corner. He's helping with some of our teachers at that point. And he wants to be sure that we thank you for what you've done for the Christian school movement. B started it with what the pastors wanted and the way we did things and so forth. All of those Christian schools are owned by independent Baptist churches. None of them are missionary owned. They're all already, we started them being nationalized. So it's their ministry from the word go. And they appreciated that. And it's something that they took to their heart and to their will immediately, because they wanted their kids to grow up with a Christian education like you do. So anyway, Andrew wanted to be sure to say thank you for your support that you've done. And when you look back over that ministry, how long has Christian schools been going on in Togo, dear? 2006, so that's about 7 or 8 years? No, 16 years. Okay. There are over 5,000 kids every day in that Christian schools all over Togo. It's really the only school that the kids learn anything. So you have been a part of growing something that will have generational lifetime ministry as those kids grow up, as they get involved in their churches. We got many stories about how they sometimes know more than their village pastors that have been didn't have the opportunity to get that kind of training. So you got people that are going to be leaders in the Christian school movement and probably leaders in their country too. So you've made a wonderful investment in that. Any questions about that? Or you want to say anything now, or you want to say something later? Later? Okay, all right. Questions about Andrew and what's going on? Andrew has now retired from missions, and he's at Bob Jones University Press. No questions? They have a house in some suburb. Yeah, everybody knows everybody there, but it is technically a separate group. Yeah, separate building. I'll tell you an interesting story. Years ago, I used to be the University Press. The only things that the University Press had at that point were some records where they had recordings of Dr. Bob Sr. preaching, and that's the only thing they sold. So we'd sell maybe 5 or 10 a week or something like that, and they used my name to sign the letter. So I was the head of the Bob Jones University Press at that point. So it's come a long way. Now it is so successful that it supports the university. So maybe pays about a third of their entire costs. So it's a good ministry. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Okay. Now, my second daughter, my first daughter, Alyssa, plays the piano. My second daughter, Anne, who did all the work for Alyssa, has married Vitaly, and you've been supporting them for a number of years. Most of you are familiar. They were started in Ukraine. We went to Ukraine for a while until Putin decided to invade. So I'm going to turn Ukraine over to the Sokol family and let them use their time however they want.
Good evening, church. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And thank you for all your prayers and support. So we are Sokols, we are missionaries in Ukraine, to Ukraine. My wife, Anne, she's local, she's from Chattanooga. I am from Ukraine originally. I grew up in Chernobyl area. If somebody heard about Chernobyl catastrophe, we had 30-something years ago in 1986. And now we have another catastrophe, war. So please pray for Ukraine. As I'm saying, sometimes in the States you have bad weather sometimes. Hurricanes, tornadoes. Well, we got a bad neighbor, so we need to pray for each other. So we are missionaries in Ukraine since 2004, and our focus was all these years on the missionary mobilizing work. I am teaching with a team of other instructors. We are doing a course called Kearns. It's missionary mobilizing course for doing missions in different cultural contexts. And so throughout these years, hundreds of students and pastors went through this course, and thank you for your part in it, because it's you're training them. You're praying, you're empowering us, and we are able to go and do this work. And now when war happened, all this, you know how many refugees are all throughout the world from Ukraine. So now these people who went through this missionary mobilizing, some of them were not able to go on mission field. They were doing local evangelism, but now they went as refugees. So our church that we used to work in Ukraine, in Kiev, in capital, now in different parts of the world. So one part in Poland, one part is still in Ukraine. Some people are in Canada now, starting another church. In Poland, they started a church. In Canada, they started a church. There are a group of people in Germany. There are people in Spain and other places. So please pray for our church that is now all throughout the world. And we will share with you a little bit presentation, but maybe I think I want my wife to give us a little update on our children, family, how are we doing. And then we'll share video presentation, and then we'll talk a little bit more, and we'll have time for questions. Is that okay? Thank you.
My name is Anne, and I was sitting here and just thinking about what to share, and I'm just going to actually share something personal that I have actually never really talked about in public before, but I'm going to talk about it tonight. So, when I was in high school, the Soviet Union fell apart, and I was in church, and I just saw all these missionaries coming and talking about, how they would go and give out Bibles, and people were so hungry for the Word of God in those places, and that's when I became interested in going to the former Soviet Union. And when I was 18, I just went to Ukraine, and after that, it was just like Ukraine was it. And, that was over 30 years ago. And so when this war started, you experience a lot of loss and you lose your future. You lose the future that you had laid out before you. And so I've just been asking the Lord it's been over 3 years now that this has been going on, and I've just been continually asking the Lord, what do we do? And we went to the Philippines so I could start my midwifery studies, and I asked the Lord, I'm like, do you want us to stay here? Do you want this to be the new it, And it was like, no. And finally, years have gone by, and the Lord just tells me over and over again, I made you to love Ukraine. That is what I made you for, and you can stop trying to change that. And so then I'm like, well, then what do we do? So we've considered all kinds of possibilities. And we've considered going back to Ukraine, but then every time we decide to go there, then there's a huge bombing in Kiev and all these drones. And I think maybe if we didn't have small children, I would consider that a little more, but it's sirens every day. You're running to the metro, you're hiding in the basement. Those children, we read stories of how traumatized those children are, and I just don't want that for myself or my kids. I don't, and there are missionaries who do it. And the Lord gives them that to do, and they do it. There's a family in Odessa. They get terribly bombed a lot, and they decided to send their high school children to America, and then they stayed there with their one son in the bombings. They wake up in the night. They go to the hallway to sleep because you're supposed to have 2 walls between you and the drones. It's even worse now. I mean, that the 2 walls doesn't even work anymore. But anyway, so I've just been asking the Lord the whole time, like, what do we do? So it was, I don't want to give up missions. I love missions. It's all I've ever loved. And I don't feel the Lord asking me to do that either. Like, we have languages now that we've acquired. We have a lot of experiences and just learning how to witness in other cultures and just a lot of things like that have just learned and had a lot of experiences with that have been very helpful. And Vitaly has also just had a lot of experience in other places around Ukraine, where they have all different ethnic groups that haven't been reached with the gospel yet. There's a lot of places that he works in specifically for Samaritan's Purse, where they have very strict religious laws. Those Christians are paying fines. The police are coming. They just terrible things. Then he's able to support them through his ministry and just through what we know about them. And so he's got a lot of opportunities. And so it was just one day, even recently, the Lord was like, you just work with Ukrainians, and if they're in Poland, that's where you go. If that's where they are, you go and you're with them because you're suffering what they are suffering. And Ukrainians are all over, just in all those countries now. And so I just feel like that's just on a personal level how the Lord has been leading us through this terrible life experience that we have been suffering. And just ask that you keep praying for Ukraine. I really feel sometimes that this is a demonic war. Ukraine has had incredible freedom. They had the largest Mormon church, the largest charismatic church. They just had all these churches and all these religions, Muslims, Jews, everything. They'd had all of those things. It was so free there, and like so many Bible schools that missionaries had started, and just multitudes of printing and Bible work that was being done there. And then they were sending out their own missionaries. Our church sent out missionaries. And so I feel like all of that is under attack right now. Like on a spiritual level, the light is trying to be shut out. And so like we have these contacts with pastors in Ukraine. They are witnessing to people like every day. They're going and ministering to them. And Ukrainians are just so open right now. They're in such desperate need of comfort right now and material things. And so we're just very happy to be with them. So I just wanted to share that with you all, how the Lord has been leading us. And then I wanted to mention, we have a video for 10 minutes. It will talk about what's happened the last 5 years. And I wanted to mention that we have updated prayer cards if you want to get them. And then we have our prayer letters that if you want to sign your name and your email, you can get our email prayer letters by doing that. So thanks. Oh, it'll be in the movie, in the video, but Vika just came back from Alaska. She's been doing park evangelism all summer with the ministry, and then Skyla has been in Poland with our church from Kiev, the refugees that landed in Poland, and they're doing a lot of ministry with the the Ukrainian refugees who are living there.
Okay, so I put our prayer cards there, and you can sign up there. Let's turn on the video presentation now, and then we will talk a little bit more.
The last 5 to 6 years since we've seen have been full of seeing God's hand at work around the world. God has been expanding our ministries beyond the borders of Ukraine.
For many years now, I've organized the translation and printing of evangelistic and discipleship materials for many religiously sensitive countries. I travel extensively for this work, and when visiting these places, I see God at work through the church in the smallest and darkest corners of the globe. For example, when visiting several stun countries, I meet with and train believers who are sharing the gospel with these materials despite intense persecution. These believers are also focused on reaching the unreached people groups in their nations. For many years, I've facilitated the Kairos course, which teaches local churches about God's heart for reaching the unreached with the gospel. This course, and others like it, are being taught in Ukraine, and currently more classes are being added. And all materials are being translated into Ukraine. Praise the Lord. One Ukrainian pastor said, "I believe this will be a powerful instrument for many of our members to understand their mission from God."
For many years, I had a ministry to mothers in our local church in Kiev, with weekly meetings, fellowship, encouragement, and teaching. Our church has many small children, and we were often welcoming the birth of the next baby. I also attended births as a doula. This is one Ukrainian mother, and I've been at all 3 of her births. I met this couple in Kiev in 2014 when they escaped from the war zone, when Russia first invaded Ukraine. Currently, this mother produces a beautiful Christian magazine for women. I've written articles for the magazine, and our daughter Victoria now helps by translating the magazine into English. In 2021, the Lord burdened me to host a weekend conference for Christian homeschooling mothers. This was the first conference for homeschoolers, all taught and run by Ukrainian mothers. During this conference, we also highlighted how we, as homeschooling parents, can encourage our children to pray for and be involved in missions. It was a very special weekend, full of sharing experiences, wisdom, and encouragement. During the pandemic, the Lord also led me to publish a small book entitled Humble Mom. This book is about our sanctification during parenthood. Multiple mothers and fathers have commented on how this book has touched them. Last year, a friend gave this book to a pastor in a persecuted country, and I gave permission for him to translate the book into his language. He wrote, "That book is so great. I sent the translated version to 4 of our churches, and they love it."
During the summers, we would spend a week in Moldova, a small country between Ukraine and Romania. We helped a church plant do their evangelistic summer camp. Because of this, we became very close to this church and to these campers who we've had multiple opportunities to witness to, and we continue our contact with them today.
Our last Christmas in Ukraine, I organized an evangelistic outreach using the Operation Christmas Child program. All of those involved went through the preparatory training, then we organized programs for different ages. We had games, an impromptu skit where the children attending acted out the story of Jesus' birth. Vitaly shared the gospel, and we distributed the gifts. I also translated the letters enclosed, where the gift givers wrote about how they were praying for the child who received their box. It was a very special evening. However, our discipleship follow-up was disrupted by the impending war. In early 2022, I was involved in a midwifery missions trip to Albania, organized by a U.S. midwife from South Carolina. Our small team of believers spent time in the maternity hospital in Shkodra, Albania, observing and helping at prenatal appointments and births. We also accompanied the obstetrician to her university class, and she allowed us to share with her students about our various approaches to birth and how we comfort and care for women during labor. After more than a decade of being a doula and a childbirth educator, I made a plan to study missionary midwifery, and when the war started in 2022, we decided to continue with that plan. We moved to the Philippines, where I enrolled in the New Life International School of Midwifery, a Christian midwifery program that is both a school and an active clinic whose purpose is to train Christian midwives while reaching out to the local community. We had an active 2 years there in the Philippines. The clinic shares the gospel and practices compassionate, competent midwifery. Besides getting loads of practice in midwifery skills, I participated in a month-long outreach in remote areas where our team participated in jungle work and island outreaches. During this time, Vitaly also became involved in translating, printing, and training Filipinos for evangelistic outreach as well. His ministry there continues, and he helps coordinate the translations of materials there.
When the war started in Ukraine, Skyla and I drove our van to the Polish border. In this flood over 6 million Ukrainian refugees, Skyla worked as a translator and I was a driver, taking people who would escape war to train stations or their next safe place in Europe. We also spent time helping people inside Ukraine. During this time, I taught the Kairos course to a refugee church that had moved to a safer location in western Ukraine. This one course bore so many fruit. This church and its leaders are continuing to teach others to know God's heart of desiring to reach the unreached people groups of the world. We also visited my hometown region after it had been freed from Russian occupation. We distributed humanitarian aid, gifts for children, and shared the gospel to these suffering people. Later, when our family had moved to the Philippines, Skyla and I returned again to Ukraine for a few weeks, during which time we helped rebuild roofs on houses that had been destroyed while under Russian occupation. We lived among the people and took opportunities to share the gospel to these people that had just endured and were still enduring great tragedies.
Our village house in Ukraine continues to house a Christian rehabilitation ministry for men struggling with addictions to drugs and alcohol. As you can see, they have various agrarian projects going to help the center be self-sufficient.
When we returned to the US last year in 2024, I spent weeks working at various sites of catastrophe, helping along with Christian groups who have both resources to help and who share the gospel consistently. I helped in Iowa after the flooding, and I spent a lot of time in North Carolina helping after Hurricane Helene devastated the area. The opportunities to witness to people in their suffering have been plentiful.
Because of the ongoing war in Ukraine, part of our Kiev church has settled in Głogów, Poland, under the refugee program. Skyla is our eldest daughter, and she was 16 years old when the war started. After finishing high school in the Philippines, she returned to Poland to work with our church there, as they are doing many outreaches to the unsaved Ukrainian refugees who stayed in Głogów. Amazingly, when the war started in 2022, one of her dreams came true. She got a dog. Byro is an active part of her ministry there. He's very gentle and all the children love him, maybe as much as he loves them. He's a wonderful way to meet new people too, as many people warm right up to a large, friendly German Shepherd. Skyla is specifically reaching out to the Ukrainian teens there who need the Lord so desperately. She's also discipling 2 young girls from the church, and she started a Sunday school for the Ukrainian teens who show up for church on Sundays. My parents, Harry and Bee Ward, are retired missionaries. They came to live with us in Ukraine before the war. They became involved in various ministries there, and when we moved to the Philippines, they also came with us. Dad worked as the interim director for the local Christian school, and they help with our children while I've been studying. We are very thankful for them and that they live and travel with us. In conclusion, some family milestones were reached during these last years. Before the war started in Ukraine, both of our daughters were baptized and joined the church, and Vitaly graduated from seminary.
And last year, both our daughters graduated from high school. Thank you all for your generous and faithful support. You are with us in all that the Lord is doing. May He bless you abundantly, and may His glory be over all the earth.
Well, thank you for your support and thank you for what you are doing. It's amazing how these days Christians as a church can participate in all different ministries throughout the world. And thank you again. Let me emphasize a couple things from the presentation, and then we will have time for questions. So I used to focus on missionary mobilizing work, course Kairos, and then I started to co-work with Samaritan Spurs to extend their ministry in countries around Ukraine, mainly focusing on printing materials in stun countries and working with local teams, national teams that are going to receive shoeboxes and then teach partnering churches how to do evangelistic events and discipleship program. And at that time, Samaritan Spurs started to do big emphasis on reaching unreached people groups. That's why I was really interested in partnering with them, because as a missionary mobilizing instructor, I really wanted to figure it out what's going on in those countries around Ukraine, what are the minority groups, what are unreached people groups. And this project, the Samaritan Spurs project, Operation Christmas Child, is basically like year-round project. It's not Christmas project only. Shoeboxes are coming, reaching to some countries in spring or in winter or even in summer. We start managing translations and printing around springtime, and it goes like all the way to the end of the summer, and even like sometimes all the way even to the autumn, to prepare all the materials, to print them. And then we are meeting and working with teams in each country to prepare them to make sure that shoebox will be gospel opportunity box and not just a humanitarian present. So we have trainings with teams and so on. So in this way, I knew about Samaritan Spurs since 2014, for up to war started. And then when war started, suddenly I discovered completely different side of Samaritan Spurs. It's a disaster relief side. And I was really surprised because what happened, I was at that time with Skyla on the Polish border helping Ukrainian refugees to keep moving away from Ukraine. And as soon as Ukraine government led humanitarian organization to come in and do relief ministry in the country, Samaritan Spurs went in right away, and they were all over the places. How did they did it? Because other organizations, Red Cross, United Nations, they were also in, but they were very slow starting. So Samaritan Spurs, they were partnering with churches for Operation Christmas Child project for many years. In this way, they were preparing this network how to do ministry, disaster ministry, when disaster strikes. So when I saw that, I just thought, man, these people are ready for Armageddon. I better be with them. So I called them and I just said, I want to be trained because I will go to Ukraine and I will do more disaster relief work. So can I learn more things, what you're doing, guys, on that part? So once I came to the US, I was able to partner with them and learn their disaster relief ministry in North Carolina, and other in Iowa and other places. So that was kind of interesting what I learned about that. But thank you for participating in this project also, because it's not only Operation Christmas Child project, it's an amazing project that I see God is using. And they just want to share the gospel. Wherever we go, we just share in the gospel. They say, we don't want just to help people physically. We want to help them physically and spiritually, give them a hope. Okay, and then when war started, I want to share with you a little bit what God is doing among the Christians and un-Christians. Lots of refugees left. Well, Christians and un-Christians. In one moment, God provided for those who are Christians support, opportunities to share the gospel, and open people's hearts in the world to hear their stories. And if you know God, you're moving with God throughout it's not easy time, but you're sharing God's story. So these people are started to share the gospel in the world, and we see how God is using it, Ukraine right now, because after communism fell apart, Ukraine was a spiritual breadbasket for post-Soviet Union countries. We were sending different missionaries. But right now, even more missionaries came up out of Ukraine. They're now all throughout the world. You know, it's amazing what God is doing. And inside the country, churches became a little bit empty because lots of Christians left. It's easier for Christians to live because they have all different also relationships throughout the world with other Christians. So what happened that those who stayed, they have no choice. They were just churches doing what's supposed to do. They are helping other people. So un-Christian people came, like more un-Christians came to the churches, and churches get filled back with people. And God is doing amazing work there. And it's a hard time, wartime, but it's a time when God is showing to people in Ukraine, to un-Christians, what is church, what is real church. Because many Christians in Ukraine, they're Orthodox Christians. They're Orthodox believers. So people don't really know about, they know about Christianity as tradition more. So in this time, they started to see who really Christians are, if they are really walking with God. Because these churches, they started to help. Like this, historically in the States, you are talking about Underground Railway Road, when slaves were being rescued through different ways from some states to other states. Something like that happened during wartime in Ukraine, when places that they being occupied and Ukrainian civilians were trying to escape this disaster, they were trying to move away. Well, Christians were moving them from place to place, from church to church, from another church to another church. So these un-Christians, they were being, like when they come to another church, they don't know anybody there. And they're so surprised how people that don't know them taking care about them. And they keep asking, why are you doing? Why are you helping us? You don't know us. It's amazing. You are feeding us, you're driving us. And it's not like they drive from one place all the way to the destination. It's like 2 local churches, from one church to another church, somebody can drive you. And then another 2 churches, another 2 churches. So, and all this work is not coordinated at all. You just know only, I can take you to next town. I can take you like 50 miles away. That's all what I can do. So news people, they saw how well organized this work was. When I was driving from, like on the Poland border, which was very crowded, I was talking with people and asking them, so what's going on in your life? How do you see God in your life? And they were just saying, it's amazing what we saw. We don't know who are these people, why are they taking care about us. We never knew that such people existing and how they organize that all. And I'm just saying, well, God is organizing it all, orchestrating it all. And some people, like news people, they were trying to get interview. They tried to interview one pastor. They just said, can you tell us, how did you organize everything? Or who is in charge of everything? And he just says, we didn't organize anything. We just helping our neighbors. We just loving our people. We just, church just doing what's supposed to do, being with their people. No, I'm not asking, he says, about church. I'm not asking about God. I'm asking how, like, who is sponsoring everything? Who is scheduling everything? And he says, nobody is scheduling anything. People are sending donations, but it's not that there is a centralized system how it's all being processed. We just see God's hand in this. So the media guy, he just says, no, don't talk about God. Don't tell us about God. We don't want to hear about God. We want to see how people as organization are organized here. And he says, well, I don't know what else I can tell you. I can just tell you that I know nearby church. And I know these people on the street, they just running away from their disaster, and I can take them to the next place. That's all what I know. And those people, they know another place where to take them. And those people take to another place. So that's all how it's organized. We just one link in this system, and we just see how God orchestrates, because if at the end people are amazed, it means there is a God hand behind that. So all glory to God. Well, please pray for Ukraine. War is not finished. Ukraine is trying to survive as nation. It's questioned, will Ukraine be able to exist? But we see if Ukraine will not be able to exist, we see that it's also like will hinder God's work a lot. We see that churches will be very persecuted even more than now, because when Russia is coming, they really treating very badly, not just civilians, but especially Christians, Protestant Christians. They try to say that only Orthodox Church is true church and everything else is just false teaching. So anyway, God is doing that work. Please pray for Ukraine. My relatives are in Ukraine. My mother in Ukraine, my brother, my sister, their families are in Ukraine. And we need a lot of prayers. We hope this thing will be finished. But if you have that question, when war will be finished, I don't know answer for that question, but we'll be happy to answer other questions if you have any questions, please. But thank you for your prayers and support.
When you go to Poland, are you going to actually be with the mission board then? Or what type of ministry are you going to be doing in Poland?
Yes, so we are with Missions 316, Mission Board.
I'll explain that just a second. We're independent missionaries, which means that we have a mission agency. We raise our own financial support, and then we go to the place where God is leading us. So that's how our style of missions works. We just have an independent agency, and what happened was our agency was Titus International in Chattanooga. They shared office space with another mission agency. Those people went to the same church, and they just decided to join together, and then they just became they started a new name. So it has a new mailing address now, but all our support just goes basically through it's basically the same place. It just changed names. We've recently lost some support, but we'll still be returning to Poland. So we'll be returning to Poland on September 14.
So we have the way how it works. We have churches that are supporting us. We have individuals that are supporting us, and once in a while, when we come back to the States, we are visiting them, and we are trying to visit some also new places or new partners, potential partners, and see if we can like build up our support, whatever was lost, or if it's inflation or something else. So right now we still need like 1,200 in support to raise in monthly support, and there is a in the prayer card there is a QR code. If you scan, it will take you straight to the website. If God puts on somebody's heart to support, you can set up recurring support through that place, or you can mail your check to the mission board, whatever, and support in that way. Yes, please.
Yes, I understand that you've moved 14 times and lived in 7 countries. Is that correct? Just to add.
I actually don't know how many countries we live. Well, doing ministry in countries around Ukraine, like sometimes I travel, but very often I'm reaching online and managing printing, managing translations. Like when we were on the Philippines, we were there, but now I'm managing translations in Southeast Asia for Samaritan Spurs, but that's all online. And I'm not knowing those languages. I'm just finding translators, and from the office, they show me what to translate and when to do it. And then Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, I am visiting them once in a while, but it's not like whole family is going there. So I just travel there when I need, but also I manage it online. So, but if we want to count how many countries we moved since war started, how many that would be?
I counted 7.
Okay.
It was,
7.
We were in Hungary, Albania, Moldova, Romania, and a couple Poland, the Philippines. It was a lot. I even can't remember all of it. And then all the places that we had to stay. It was because Vitaly was doing ministry, and I had to find a place to stay with the kids, and so we were kind of moving to all different locations. So he would be near Ukraine and things like that.
Our base was in Ukraine, and then I was just traveling as needed. So I just need country with an airport.
Full disclosure, my wife pointed that out to me.
What?
My wife pointed that out to me, that how many times you've had to move and how many countries you've been in, and we were...
Yeah. Well, we actually didn't think about that, but now we can see, yeah, it was a couple. Number is growing. Hopefully we will stay a while in Poland, but we need to pray for documents, because document work is not easy in Poland. And if we will be not, like we can stay 3 months for sure. And we will encourage our Ukrainian church there, and we'll work with Ukrainian refugees over there. But if somehow documents will not work for us, so Ukraine is plan A, Poland is plan B, and then Georgia is plan C for staying a while. But if Ukraine will be open, like if they will make some peace, we will go back to Ukraine right away. And we'll do disaster relief work more there, as well as missionary mobilizing work. For Ukrainians, it's not hard because they come as refugees, so they are getting their living permit and working permit very easy. But my wife, my family, they are Americans, I am American. So I still have Ukrainian passport, but I'm not as looking for them as refugee anymore. So we will have to deal from this side and work on this documentation. But for Ukrainians, it's not hard. If they come from Ukraine, if they come from other country, somewhere else they stayed for a while, then they also have problems because they don't want you to keep country hopping. Younger ones with us. Victoria just returned yesterday from Alaska trip, summer trip. And the oldest one, she is in Poland doing, this year she was doing missionary work with Ukrainian refugees in that place where we will go.
They get to keep the two young kids with them. Grandma and Grandpa are going to take the two oldest, and they'll live with us while they go to college. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Doesn't it make you tired listening to all the things that they do? Okay. All right, we're going to quickly go through what B and I did while we were in Kosovo. We got invited there because they were having some problems in their leadership. I know it's hard to believe that missionaries don't get along, but occasionally they don't. So they said, take this old geezer and put him in there and see if he can fix it. And so we did okay. So the place didn't blow up. So we got it fixed up with them and so forth. But here's the building, totally different than Togo. Togo, you got, concrete, nothing. And look at this beautiful school. Whoop, too far. Can you turn the video on? Can you give it a click? Okay. It's there, but it's down in the bottom, so I guess you can't see the whole thing. Okay. All right. You walk in the main building. This is the entrance. So it's a beautiful school that was built with USA funds. It's a lovely place. Wonderful people. All of the in Kosovo, you cannot have a Christian school, so you have to have public school. But all of our high school teachers are either missionaries or Christians that have come there to teach. A few of the elementary teachers are not yet Christians, but most of them are. All right, let's see. Can't get it advanced here. What do we need to do? Go on to the next slide. What am I doing wrong? Not getting you there. Advance the slide, please. There we go. Typical classroom, looks like a USA classroom. The kids are all dressed for some kind of special something or other. I don't know if it's Halloween or something like that, but all the kids there speak English. It's from Togo, the poorest of the poor, to Kosovo, where these are the top level schools, probably either the best or the second best school in the entire country of Togo. These are all English speaking, and as well as, Albanians, the language they speak, but they want their kids to have the best education, so they send them to an English speaking school. Another classroom. Notice up at the top left up there, you see a TV screen. Every classroom has a TV screen, just like a good, well done classroom here. And they're still looking for teachers. You speak English, you know what you're doing, you got an education degree, they will take you. It's that simple. And these kids learn. We don't have discipline problems. They're there. Their parents want them to learn. Sometimes they give them too much homework and the parents want more. So if you're a teacher and want to teach, this is the place. Okay. Also, we have what they call mock trials. We have judges and attorneys from the United States that come over once a year, and they do a mock trial where they try to, have a prosecutor and defense and so forth, and then they judge whether or not the kids did well. They do this every year, so it's a high-class operation. Several of the kids that have gone through the mock trial go on to college there in the country and try to be lawyers because they have this experience. Okay. This are some of the native costumes that the kids have. These are the elementary kids that are there, all dressed up in their native costumes. Here's some of the older girls. That's a 100% native costume except for the tennis shoes down at the bottom, okay? All right. Since the thing's not moving, you can't see the video at this point. That's a junior high kids were doing a native dance there in the gym. So I'm sorry you can't see it. Okay. This is a restaurant that's, we had our Christmas dinner among all the rest of the faculty there. Beautiful place. The restaurants are multiple restaurants and they are cheap. B and I could go to dinner after church on Sunday mornings, and with tip, it was $12 total for the two of us, $6 each. Okay, but now you say, what's missionary life look like? Well, this was our apartment. It was $600 is what we were renting per month on the thing. This was our living room. B took over the living room so she could have a nice, comfortable place. This was our bedroom, and then in between the two was a little office that I took over. So, but the nice part was this. You look out the bedroom window, and you had the nice snowfall going on. So it was a beautiful, beautiful country to live. So if you're a teacher and want to retire teaching kids that want to learn, this is the place, okay? And we kept the place together so it didn't go. This is my favorite place because it's right near the flea market. My wife will shop at the mall, I'll shop at the flea market, okay? So you can't see what's going on here because the video is not running on it. But they've got all kinds of food, equipment, computer supplies, furniture, anything you need, clothes, jewelry, it's all there. And it happens every Saturday morning. So this is my usual stuff. Okay. Now, we've covered all kinds of countries all around the world. Last chance for questions. Okay, they did. No, what happened was that Kosovo is the country almost just above Greece. Okay, the country above Togo is Serbia. Serbia wanted to keep Kosovo, but that was the problem. So there was a guy by the name of Milosevic. The Serbian guy was killing all kinds of Albanians and Kosovo people. And so the United Nations and the United States especially went in, stopped it, gave Kosovo freedom. They love us in Kosovo. There were statues there to Bill Clinton and Madeleine Albright, the Secretary of State. So they love Americans. There's still American troops that are posted there. So we lived right next to a river that was pretty much a dividing point between Kosovo and Serbia. Serbia does not recognize the country of Kosovo. They say it's still ours. So that's where you heard it from. Yes. Yeah, wonderful place, beautiful. B and I walked all over the whole city. It was just a lovely place. Yep, that's right.
What's the main
Religion, mostly Muslims. Yes, Muslim country. But it was a modern Muslim country. Very few, of the dress and so forth. They were in the new liberal kind of Muslim.
But so you don't say you're Christianity. I mean, to be it's kind of an ethnic thing rather than a religious thing. So you're either Muslim or Christian, and so when the war, the Christians were just as hostile and mean and murderous as the Muslims. So you just have to really know somebody. They love Americans, so we could announce ourselves as Americans, but you have to be careful to say you're a Christian to establish that you're really a kind, good person before you try to approach people about Christianity, because it just, they don't have really a good impression of Christianity. So it was very interesting in that respect.
When you said
Euro.
$12, but I'm trying to
They use the euro. Yeah, uh-huh.
Do the Ukrainians know the language, or any of them know the language of Poland, or are there enough people? If there are there people familiar that they could have interpreters? That I was just wondering about the language there.
It's interesting because with Ukrainian, it's since they're neighboring countries, there's actually a lot of similarities. So if a Ukrainian tried hard, they could learn Polish in a year because there's already like so many words and the sounds are the same and just things like that, the grammar stuff.
Our 20-year-old daughter, Skyla, has started in Russian as a child, learned English from mom, Ukrainian now, and then when she was in Philippines, she learned, what was that? Sabwana, and then now she speaks Polish. I mean, you know, she's already a supported missionary, and she's not even gone to college yet. So if you're looking for a missionary to invest in early in your life, she's the one. She knows languages and can pick them up just like that. So she'll be a winner. Hope the church will take her on someday. So, okay. I don't want to hold you, but if you got questions, see us afterwards. We'd be glad to talk with you. We just appreciate the church, everything you've done for us. And if you have any extra missions money, they're short $1,000, and that makes a difference.
Sign up for their prayer letter and get a prayer card if you want to come up here and get that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Pastor, you want to close in prayer for us?
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. So exciting. So much that you did. And just, again, we just will pray that God continues to use you in a great and wonderful way. And Harry and B may stay with us for a week or two before they take off again. So, yes. Yeah. So won't we go ahead and stand and we'll just close in prayer. So, okay. Lord, our Heavenly Father, we just love you so very much. And Lord, thank you so much for this evening that you've given us. And thank you so much, Lord, just for the work that this family has done for you, for the kingdom. And Lord, I just pray as Vitaly and Ann